Hey guys, it's Ellen here. Welcome to my channel. Today I thought I would do some fun Inktober ideas using watercolor and ink. I go over things step by step. It's super easy for beginners. I'm using a fountain pen, a sharpie pen. Anybody could draw and make this design. I actually use some acrylic ink on this as well, as you can see the gold. Please don't forget to hit the bell notification button to know my tutorials up. And also, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. If you're a Patreon member, you can see ad-free videos, traceables, exclusive tutorials on Thursdays, and live stream once a month on my top tier. If you're not a Patreon member, you can check it out coming up in the little lip above. And yeah, it's a place people go and support my channel, which I appreciate so much. So without further ado, let's get started on Inktober. So all right, guys, I'm going to go over my supplies. I have a piece, actually I have 3 pieces of this paper right here. This is the Strathmore watercolor travel pad, an 8x10 pad. Actually, it's 100% cotton, it's acid free, it's cold press. I have a link for you in the description box. You can get it on Amazon, so I have an Amazon link, affiliate link there for you to check it out. I was gifted this, so I figured I'd try it again. I think I painted on it once, but I figured I'd try it again. For this particular exercise, it's perfect because it's kind of smooth compared to the rough of the Arch paper, and the Arch paper is more expensive. I think this pad is like $12 for 12 sheets. An Arch pad would be like more than that. So for the inks, I'm going to be using my Sharpie pen. I'm going to be using my fountain ink with my nib here. We can be playing around with some acrylic inks. This is Liquitex, this is gold, this is white. You could be using all kinds of ink pens. It's an artist pen that's a kind of a brush pen. You know, so you can get that thick and thin kind of lines. If you want to use a micron pen, use a micron pen. Basically, it's just like a doodle with the pen and ink. This is just ideas for Inktober. I didn't really do much Inktober past couple of years. I used to do it on Instagram, but I have been too busy and I don't have time to do a new thing every day. But if you're like working on that challenge and you're figuring, well, I need some ideas, this is just a simple kind of Inktober challenge, and it's with some watercolor. So, you know, anybody could do this. Doesn't require specific drawing skills. I'm just going to use a simple brush, which is a Princeton 10 Neptune series. And we're just going to paint these just like blobby kind of tree shapes, the first one. So for the first one, we're going to paint, I have my water jar here and my paper towels. Going to grab some nice, fall kind of color tones. I'm going to make a green using this is a peacock blue. I'll clean up my brush and grab some yellow. This is cadmium yellow deep. So it's a pretty green, but then I'm going to add some burnt umber to make it like a brown, deeper green. Maybe some more blue. So get a nice green going. We have a nice brown with some burnt umber, but I'm going to add a little neutral tint to it, give it a little blackish brown. And then I'm going to add just the neutral tint itself. Still add some brown. Make whatever colors you like. I've got some orange, brilliant orange, but again, it's so bright, I'm going to turn it down a bit with some burnt umber. If you want to add some yellow to that. See, now it's like a nice muted orange. Got a little brilliant orange in there. Just playing around with colors. So basically, I'm going to make like kind of blobby kind of tree shapes. I'm going to play around with this. I've got my green here. See, it's like a circle. Kind of what a tree would look like. If you want to bleed in some other colors, I've got this Prussian blue in here. Now it's already wet. I might want to not make it so wet. I'm going to pull down a little stem for the tree. Let me do some brown ones. Add a little burnt umber here. The color should dry lighter, so we're going to just put some light brown here. Again, just like a simple blobby kind of situation here. And get some orange that I mixed up. I'll put another orange one down here. Picture how you would have like trees, facing you. And I've got that neutral tint color, which is kind of really pretty. See, they're not particularly, don't have to be round shapes. They could be like rectangular looking shapes. Really simple like that. Do another green one. I don't have many greens. Do another green one here. You know, you're playing around with whatever you're going to do. Add this trees here. I'll do another green one up here. Maybe a little bit different color green. And see how the shape isn't so perfect. And then I'm going to just take the tip of the brush and kind of go down for the stem. Try not to hit the other colors. See that? Clean up my brush. And I'll grab the orange. Oops, very watery. So what I'm going to do is just finish it off by drying it with a hairdryer. And then come in and we're going to play around with the ink. That's a little bit darker. And, you know, at this point, feel free to add more trees if you want. See, I'm just doing the stems downward. You don't have to add more trees. You could even splatter some color if you wanted to. I might take some of this burnt umber. Take a pen, whatever you got. Little splatters. Having a little fun with this. Okay. So I'll let that dry with the hairdryer and we'll come back. This is the part where you get creative with your ink part. So I have, like I said, I have the fountain pen with the nib here. I like this type of ink because it's really thick and thin and very artsy. So just do some line connecting where the tree branch would go. And just make some branches. So they can be really thick and they can be really thin with this kind of nib. Make some branches off that. This particular ink tool, like the old-fashioned days, right? When they had to write letters with this thing. Can you imagine? The ink spots and blots. You're just making little branches to create your tree. Very simply. Like so. You don't have to do it on all the trees. You can do different ones. I might do like where I go up, over and down, and make like these, almost like a fanning flower kind of design. If you can zoom in and see this. See? Up and down, up and down. Makes like a nice noise too. You can make little squiggles on the ends. Kind of get some more ink. I try to blot it on the paper towel because I don't want to make a big spot on my paper. Now, if you don't have one of these, don't need it. You can go right into like a Sharpie pen. Make, again, simple lines. You're going up here and just have them branch off like this. Fun, funky trees. Simple like that. Fanning it to the right, fanning it to the left. Right? We can make some really cool, fun, simple circle kind of connecting. See? Circle, kind of a long circle. Make this. Look at that. Just really simple. You can do like a scallop tree. See? Bump, bump. Little scallops. So just like little hills with another one inside. And you don't have to go through and to fill in the whole entire shape. You can just leave the bottom empty like that. Right? You know, just have imagination. I had one I kind of played around with that was kind of like a fan looking thing. So it's just going like the same thing, squiggles in different rows. So we got a fun tree. Play around, go outside the line, outside the color, you know, And you could do nice simple branches again. With the skinny pen, you can get a lot skinnier branches than with the nib. So you can play around with this more with branches. Again, swiggle, squiggle, squiggle going down. Or just make some lines going down. Like this. It's just fun to play. You can just do another simple design where it's just kind of like curving like this. But get a lot of little lines next to it. See that? Kind of like an onion. Right? And again, maybe some dots going down. Put some ones outside of it. And then we're going to do some that are not even in the circles of the colors that we did. We could just do some branch. See, start off just making a simple tree and just do the branches here. Now they can go in front or they can go behind the ones you just did. Put one little bit behind here. Just funky branches. Put the stem down here. Could do another small one here. It's just fun doodles to think about to do for Inktober. I can't speak. See how cute that is? You can put little dots on the ends of these little branches and it just changes them. You can make little grasses on the bottom of the trees. You know, again, more little trees that have like little stick branches. If you want to get really inventive, you can take the ink that is the gold. I'll put that down here so you can see. And I'll have to grab a brush for this. Don't grab necessarily the best brush you have because it's kind of like one of those things where it can wreck it a little bit. I'm just going to take it on this just crappy little brush that I have. And you just can put some dots of gold on some of your designs. See, put some dots on that one. Dots going up the branch. You know, even down here on the tree that we did before. Here with the little dots on the ends. Because it's an ink. But it's a gold ink. It's acrylic ink. See? Just put the dots on that. So that would be one fun little Inktober doodle. Let's work on another one. So this one, we'll play around with leaves. Right? Same colors, or you can change up the colors a little more. So I might make more greens or more oranges and reds. And I don't have any yellows in that one. So I'm going to grab that blue, mix in some yellow, some brown, get a nice deeper green, more blue. Okay. This particular brush, number 10, you're just going to take it, hold it like this, push down and pull back. Just like that. Push down and pull back. When you're pulling back, you get the skinny part of the brush. Push down and pull back. So you get these leaves, and you can connect them, right? Push down, pull back. Push down, pull back. See where I'm going with this? And you're connecting the leaves. Really simple. Connect. I think I could just do this all day long. It's very therapeutic. So you get your first wash of color in here for this design. Then we're going to play around with adding some browns. So we got the burnt umber again here. I watered this down. Add a little neutral tint. Now you're going to want to make sure this is dry before we start playing around with adding the other leaves. We'll let this dry and then we're going to come back. So once that's dry, we can play around with layering. So we got this brown, we're going to add a little more water to it. And the same premise, right? Maybe you could do shorter ones. So I'm going to push down, pull back, push down, pull back. See the little short ones? Connect them. See, just shorter. You can have a crisscross and go across that. Just pull. And go right on top of those leaves. Don't be shy. So you're making shorter leaves than you did before, but the same premise. Right? And then you could do this. If you're going to do this, do the stem first and then do the leaves. And if you're finding the push down, pull back is difficult, just make the simple leaf shape where you're curve, curve, and connecting. Curve, curve, and connecting. Just like that. Again, these are simple leaves, but you're going on top of the green. Clean up my brush. I'm going to grab the neutral tint here. I'm going to water that down, which is like a nice pretty gray. Add another element, so we go again. Take the stem, go this way, and then you can make the leaves different from this one too. So you can just kind of push down and pull out like that. Almost like a palm leaf. And then down here, maybe some round kind of eucalyptus kind of leaves that connect. Just changing up the different shapes. Don't be shy. Still watery. Kind of lift up the water. I'm tapping on my paper towel to get rid of all the excess. See, round and then connect it. And again, when this dries, and I don't have orange in this one, you can keep it in the browns and the greens, more natural looking. If you want to throw in, I would throw in a mustardy yellow. So I've got the yellow, and I'll add some brown to it. And I'll water that down, maybe a little more brown. Or a neutral tint. So it's kind of like a yellow, but it's more like a mustardy yellow. And then I would just take that crisscross. So when it crosses those other colors, it's going to change it. Just really simple, skinny line. Like that. I feel like I need more green again, so I'm going to take the green and put another green leaf. Oh, I got a little yellow in there, but that's okay. Some more green. All right? And then you can get a little bit darker with some of the brown. Put another, and I'm getting like a lot of things here, but I'm going to put out maybe like a floating one out here. Again, the leaves. Maybe crisscross something over here too. Just to change it up a bit. All right, so we finished this. We'll let it dry, and we're going to come back and do our ink. All right, so now we can have fun. We can play around with the same things we played around with before. I've got the nib here. And I could just go around this shape. Kind of connect it. Add some little, let me see this close. So I kind of went around the shape, connected it. Adding little veins in here. So it's kind of like an offset look. It's not filling in exactly the same circle or the line. Kind of like offset printing. That's why I like this kind of way to paint and draw. Same thing with this. Again, you can just do lines. And then we can have some fun. We can do some more patterns again. Even with the nib, you can just draw another leaf out here. See? That wasn't even in the picture. And have that connecting on top of over this other design that we did. again, that will just change it even more so. So you can have little ink leaves like that. Then I'll go into my Sharpie pen. And again, just drawing kind of fun patterns. Don't be shy. And this one's kind of behind it, so you're going to have to kind of make the pattern behind the brown one. Do little circles going down. I want you guys to experiment, having fun. See, I'm putting more lines on these leaves. So basically the watercolor is just there for color, and the pen and ink is there for the pattern for the Inktober fun project. It's kind of like a squiggle that I did. I'm getting ink everywhere. Again, you can take this and do like these little lines. There's a variety of things you could do. And they don't have to stay within the line of the color. Go right outside of that. This one kind of has to match that one, so I'll put that one there. You could do little dots on the little skinny branch one that I did. You know, I want you guys to just play around with what you have. You don't have to draw the same branches or the same leaves. Squiggles. Squiggles are fun, right? You could do squiggles in all these too. Why not? There were no rules. Again, you can put a branch up here and draw your own fun leaves. They look like squiggles, right? It's very therapeutic. Simple leaves with just a line in them, or something fancy, you know, little dots inside each leaf. Just play with it, guys. Play, play, play. This is just a simple one. Now we got one more to do. And again, like I said, you can just keep drawing. You can draw these little leaves. You can take little leaves down here. It's just leaves. Leaves and stems. Very simple, kind of fun. I'm doing little circles out here with the yellow. It's kind of fun, right? Oh, and also on this one, feel free to take some of that gold ink, you know, and play around with adding, like I said before, dots or color. You know, just put some dots kind of going out here. It just changes it. It's kind of fun. You could even paint in a gold leaf, some of the ink parts. Play around with the gold paint. So last one, we're gonna just wash some paint and then just draw over with the ink. So I've got that neutral tint, right? I'm just gonna take that, just kind of wash, just a basic color. I'm gonna add some more water here. And I'll wash in some of the green. See, just kind of like pushing the paint around. Take some of that orange, gonna water that down. And the brown. You can have it bleed if you want into the color. Just play around with it. So basically just washing color. No particular real shape. Maybe do a little more orange down here. All right, so you just do something simple like that. And then you let that dry, and then we're going to go in and play around with the ink. This time, with this, after we wash it, we're going to start playing around with the gold more. So I've got the gold up here, and we can play around with adding leaves. So this is a combination of leaves and tree things, whatever you want to do, like weird flowers. It's a little wet. It's not cooperating. I don't know why. But you can put some gold right on top. Now I didn't use the white. I intended to, but I could always change that. Maybe put some gold out here. Sometimes it cooperates, and sometimes it doesn't. Just play around with adding gold. Right? You can make a simple flower, a shape. Just dots if you want. I just like the gold. So it looks like it's a paint, but it's actually ink. So it falls into the Inktober. And I'll do a little gold down here, stem with some leaves. Simple like that. All right, so I'll have to let that gold dry and come back. So again, we'll come back to playing around with the nib and the pens. So you might want to just, I'll see, I'm going to turn my paper so I can turn the image. Go like this. Oops. You know, the gold stem. And I can add some leaves coming out of the blob. Just different ways you can create fun Inktober designs. We didn't have any flowers, but you can just draw a simple flower circle. Make simple daisies. So you have the gold as a circle. It could be a sunflower. And then you can have some stems crisscrossing that. Again, the leaf here for the gold. And just do some patterns. These nibs are fun to play with. They can make a mess, and they can get all over you. But they sure as heck are fun. You just create all kinds of fun little leaves off that. Right, you can go around the one we did down here. Just a different way to play around with the ink. I like the nibs. They you put the little vein right in here. They have that real sketchy artistic look. See this little blob right here? You want to be careful. You gotta let it dry without blow drying it, because what's gonna happen? It's gonna spray like that. Like if you were using, like, you know how you blow into a straw? You know, people have done that. It's kind of fun. And you create those kind of funky things. Well, that's what will happen. So again, just making simple. And some of these can be completely filled in with black ink, right? You can fill in leaves completely with the ink. It doesn't have to be an outline with patterns. I'm scratching and making all this noise, but you get my drift. Right? Fill it all in. Again, didn't use this one. I didn't show you this one, but you can do the same thing with this one. So it's like it's a marker basically. And you can do the same thing, and you can fill in thicker leaves, completely filled with black. And it's going to have a different look than the nib, just like the Sharpie pen will have a different look. Go all the way out here, crisscross it, make some branches. This is just doodling, having fun. So you put little circles on the ends. All kinds of things you can do. I find the Sharpie the super easy one to use. So you could, especially if you want to do patterns inside of leaves and whatnot. You want to create little, simple little squiggly patterns and leaves. All those little lines, things like that. It's so much easier to do with the Sharpie than with the nib. The nib is a little more tricky, but super fun because you get those thick and thin lines. See, it just changes that look altogether. And you get that splotch, see? And I'll take my paper towel and I'll try and remove it. Ooh, I made a splat. But you know, it's kind of the look. It gives it that little fun artistic look. So again, I just did leaves, and I can do some more flowers if I want. See, you gotta be careful with these nibs. They do not play. See, I made another splotch. And I'll have to use that to my advantage. I'll have to make a flower out of that splotch. See, like it was intended to be there. You had no clue that I screwed that up. It's the beauty of it, guys. Just a little round. Just play, play, play. And even in the ink splotch, you can go in and use the Sharpie and do more patterns. God, it seems like there's so many noises outside my office studio today. It's like, what's going on? You know, you can make like a little funky kind of looking flower here. Right? So basically, I'll show you how to do that. It's just a you know, a U, and you just connect the little lines to the U, and just do little dots on top, and you get that cute little funky kind of looking flower. I'm just going to keep filling up the page till you the piece of paper till you feel satisfied. You know, do some fun, weird kind of patterns any way you want. Grassy kind of things floating down here until you feel satisfied that it looks cute. You know, and don't be afraid to add the thick, dark black, you know, fill this in. You can use a Sharpie if you don't want to use the nib, because the nib is kind of difficult. Another trick to do is a thick line, little thin line. I think I've shown you in some of my tutorials with like the apples on the Mini Monday. But see, all you did was splotches, and then you're adding the ink on top. That's just another idea for doing Inktober kind of design. Don't be afraid to do things like that. So there we have, like I said, I could add the white. I didn't add the white, but why not? Let's try it. Oh, if I get it, it's not going to open. Guys, I do real tutorials. I know, I should edit it and make it pretty and put music behind it, but I've done that and people don't really like that. So anyway, so there are three that kind of coordinate, right? This one really didn't have much orange in it, but you can change it out, and gold, vice versa. See, there's our three. Sorry you didn't see that. Just simple leaves. Leaves again with splotches, little trees. Just kind of fun. Just do neutral colors that are very like fallish. You can change the color pattern. You don't have to use what I'm doing. You can add more dots. You know, sometimes it's fun just to add little black dots. You could paint them or draw them. This has got a little splotch on here. But don't be afraid to play around with things. See, I'm adding splotches. It just could be doodles of circles, shapes, lines, all that fun stuff. See, I'm adding little dots inside the leaves here, just to change it up. So I just want you guys to get out of your comfort zone, get a little creative, play around with the Sharpie pen, play around with the nib, play around with some acrylic inks. It doesn't have to be gold. It can be anything you want. They come in all kinds of colors. Just making patterns and shapes and just drawing on top. So you can do splotches and draw on top, and it's kind of cool. You can do splotches again, but then make them into something like a branch, or like you did a pumpkin. And then you can do the leaves and do the same thing. So I hope you like this Inktober kind of idea challenge. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section. And yeah, take care, guys, and I will speak to you soon.